All right, so ever watch a real good gangster film and you realize you'd love to be a gangster until 20 minutes later you realize you'd probably be dead by the end of the week? Well, this is that movie. All right, so today we got a guest with me, Ian, who's been with us, kind of a usual suspect now. And today we're going to talk about Goodfellas. And we're going to just get into it. It's like a bit of a retro rewind thing. Yeah, we like talking about it. It's one of our favorite films. And Ian decided he will watch it again for the millionth and one time yesterday. I don't need to because, I've seen it a long time, lots of times. But anyway, Ian, how are you up in Nottingham Forest?
I'm doing very well up in Sherwood Forest near Nottingham. Yeah, very good, very good.
Sorry. Yeah. You're like more like the Sheriff of Nottingham, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're more like Friar Tuck.
You're a funny guy.
How am I funny?
Huh?
Tell me how I'm funny.
Hey, he got me. But what I was going to say is, so, I mean, there's no point giving much of a synopsis because if you're watching this, you're probably seen it. And if you haven't, what's wrong with you? Yeah. What I was going to say was, basically, it's on the story of, what's his name? Oh my God, it's gone out of my head.
Henry Hill.
Henry Hill, yeah. It's based on his biography about his life story, which is a bit iffy, if you ask me. But yeah, it's one of the. I'll be honest with you, Ian. This film came out, I think it was 1990. Yeah,
It was, yeah.
And I remember at that age, I wasn't interested in that kind of thing at all. I was into sci-fi and action, Rambo, and whatever, right? And it was around 1994 when I think it was 93 or not 94 when someone stuck it on, and I was God. Seconds later, I was hooked, and I'm not talking minutes, seconds. Yeah, I was hooked. And ever watch one of those films, kind of kick yourself for like, how the hell did I? Because I would have liked it when I was younger as well. Yeah. Well, I was young then too, but ever watch one of those ones where you kick yourself, how did I miss this one? But you're glad you didn't because now you got to see it now, Yeah, it was just one of those. Now, I don't know about you. Do you ever, when it would come on TV, which I don't watch much of TV now, I remember even if it was halfway through, even if it was on the day before, I don't know, even my other mates, I don't know how, but for some reason we'd end up sitting down watching what's left of it or watching it again. It's just the reason why it's actually one of my top movies is because I put my top movies down as not necessarily the best for everyone's, but the ones that I can rewatch constantly without needing a break from it. This is one of them. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I'd call it a leave it on, right? Exactly the same thing. There's a few films that no matter where they are, they can be 5 minutes in or 5 minutes before the end, and it will drag you in, and you'll sit down.
Yeah. It's not like I saw it yesterday, I'm turning over. No, you're like, all right, it's on.
No, it don't matter because you're always like, yeah, this bit's cool.
Yeah,
this bit's coming up soon, and it's cool. Yeah, I think I'm with you actually. I think when it first came out, kind of passed me by. I think it was probably about 92 that I watched it for the first time. But it probably would have been. I think Reservoir Dogs came out in around that time. I think I was
about 93. That came out, around 93. Yeah.
So I know it was around that time that I saw it. But I think I was with you at the time. I didn't really appreciate The Godfather as much as I appreciate The Godfather now.
Same, but because it's slow and like when I was like young teen, I'd seen bits of it and all that. Like yourself, you appreciate it as you're getting older. You're like, oh, shit, But
this is the gateway drug to that for me. Goodfellas was my gateway drug. That 100%. Led me on to Once Upon a Time in New York. Obviously, Godfather Part 1 and Part 2. Part 3 is all right, but Part 1 and Part 2 really. And then later, you've got the likes of, what's the one that Depp's in?
The two does blow over. That's not really gangster. You're talking about Donnie Brasco.
Yeah, Donnie Brasco.
Yeah.
I know. There's another one. and a much later one where he plays a mafia boss. I don't know if you remember that one. That came out probably.
Johnny Depp.
Yeah, Johnny Depp. I'll tell you what it is in a second.
Really?
But it was,
the Irish dude.
yeah.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. And that Irish dude is supposed to be the guy from Departed, right?
Yeah.
Oh God, Bolger, something Bolger.
Black Mass is the name of the movie. Black
I
Mass.
think his name was Bolger or something.
Yeah, Whitey Bulger plays Whitey Bulger.
Yeah. I was going to say about this movie is, first of all, as a young kid, I would love movies, but as long as it was in the genre I knew, this possibly is I might have seen Taxi Driver, to be honest with you, beforehand. I think I had. This was the first time I paid attention to Martin Scorsese, and after that it was a must watch. Like Casino came out not long after, 95, I think, and obviously Departed 2002, and me and my mate said, look, forget all these other things you're doing, just stick to the Gangster, because that's all we want to see. Because and I know you could tell us never too many, but I was going to say is, in some ways I think this kind of, I could be wrong, but revolutionized, you know what I'm talking about. I can't say it today.
Revolutionized
movies, in a sense, especially with gangster movies, because the fast-paced storytelling, but the violence. It was like, I mean, I suppose Reservoir Dogs, but it was the same year.
But Reservoir Dogs was after this. This is pre-Tarantino. This was 1990. Tarantino didn't bring Reservoir Dogs out.
Right. I'm thinking about when I watched it. Yeah.
And that's what I actually was going to say about it. The structure of it, although not completely Tarantino in nature, but certainly the start, and then how it flashes back.
Yeah, but also there's a lot of cut scenes as well. But
it's quite Tarantino in its own right, really. But Tarantino,
you could say Tarantino's more Scorsese, you know what I mean. But what I was going to say is that same as Scarface, I wasn't that interested, and it's funny, it was the same year that someone else put it on, and I was, oh my God. So after that, it was like I just wanted more and more, and that's when I started getting into Godfather, and Casino came out, and I loved that too. What I was going to say is, though, with Scorsese, have you noticed he doesn't really have scores? I mean, maybe he has on his other movies, probably. But on this, there's no real score. And I don't think there's one on Casino. It's more to do with, like, I think Rolling Stones and all those kind of things are on it.
He uses music to tell you what period it's set in. So as you progress through Goodfellas, the music that he uses in the background changes. It's still pretty swing related, that whole kind of Rat Pack kind of, but as you get into the 80s it changes a little, and by the end of it it's the Sex Pistols, the last song that plays.
And then you got Eric Clapton sort of thing, and it was years later I realized that was Layla, all right, but and it seemed to fit. Like, if I was a director, I would never have thought for that to be put into the movie, but you fit. Also, I will say again, I knew who Robert De Niro was, and I knew Joe Pesci from probably Home Alone and stuff like that. And I knew kind of Ray Liotta, and I think he played the villain in a couple of films, one with Kurt Russell as an Unlawful Entry or something like that.
Maybe.
Where he played he played Kurt Russell's married, happy wife. Something happens, they call a police officer who's Ray Liotta. He's really helpful, but he starts becoming a bit of a stalker.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, but that's what I knew him from. And I want to start with Ray Liotta, right? Because this guy was up against two heavyweights with Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro. And I feel like he really held his own with them. I mean, he was he was the main character. Yeah. But I felt like you're dealing with some top boy actors, and I felt like he held his own.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Pesci hadn't really done an awful lot up until that point. Obviously, he'd done the Home Alones and stuff.
Yeah.
But he
He was
had
on a
been,
few, The Raging Bull and
yeah.
bits and pieces, I think. Yeah.
But I think he became a heavyweight after this film. I think Pesci
Okay,
became a
fair
heavyweight
enough.
after this film. De Niro absolutely was a heavyweight at the time. Was well known for it.
Yeah.
Was a at that time was very much a method actor. So much so I don't know if you know much about him getting in contact with
I do.
Jimmy Hands. Yeah.
No,
Who-
sorry, I thought you were going to say Joe Pesci talking about how he got the part.
No, basically, who did? Yeah, De Niro used to contact Henry Hill quite regularly,
Okay.
just to ask, like we're talking 7 to 8 times a day when he was doing the movie, to ask
Right.
questions like, how did he carry his cigarette, and how did he do this, and how did he do that, so he could
Yeah.
completely get into the character. So you're right, like Liotta up against that kind of big, but
Caliber. Yeah.
yeah, but he just raised his game, right? He just probably his best role, right?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say this about him, right? Is that he, I feel, or apparently, according to a lot of people, yeah, this film is one of the most accurate films to the book, not to
Mhm.
the real story. Yeah.
The Bookwise guys,
And
yeah.
yeah, but compared to, they reckon that in real life, Henry Hill was not that cool as Ray Liotta. He dressed pretty bad. He was quite
Mhm.
shabby and he was erratic and all that. They said everyone else was bang on. Yeah. And I don't mind. And if I was Henry Hill, I'd be like quite chuffed with how
Mhm.
he portrayed me. But according to him, now again, because it's his story, there's a couple of things I want to say. Now we don't know what's really true or not. But when they kill Billy Baths in the bar, right?
Mhm.
He shows Henry Hill running towards the door to close the door, right?
Mhm.
So you mean to say he didn't jump in and give him a couple of kicks as well? That was his, oh
Mhm.
look, I was only there holding the door, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? I don't know. It's just little things like that. I'm like, a bit suspect on you, I'm sure you'd have run over to impress them too. Speaking of, one more thing I wanted to say, unless you got something, is with Ray Liotta, I always felt that he deserved a better career after this.
Mhm.
I felt he was on bits and pieces. He always was really good on what he was on. There was this film called No Escape. It was very generic horror action movie. Have you seen it?
No.
It was a kind of one where you've seen it before. Like there's that one with Christopher Lambert, Fortress.
Mhm.
This man goes to a prison in the middle of nowhere. They're stuck on this island or in the future, and he's trying to escape. The same. But
Mhm.
I will say, he did really well on it. He was likable, very good, all that. Film flopped. It was very generic, but I still enjoy it. I just feel like you see him on bits and pieces, like he was on Blow as the dad. You see him on
Mhm.
bits and pieces over the years. And I always felt like he deserved a better career. I think because he had too many flops after Goodfellas that kind of messed it up. But I mean, I don't want to say go on about it. It just always felt like he was a good actor. He was
Mhm.
charismatic. He was a good-looking guy, yeah. And I feel like he deserved a better career. But you know what? And then he died there a couple of years ago. Last one, Cocaine Bear, I think.
Yeah. Did you see
Still,
that? Enjoy it?
it
I did.
was all right. Yeah, I thought it would be funnier. It was all right. But yeah. So, what do you think about anything else to say about himself?
Yeah, I think it's the best role he's ever done. I think it was
Oh
his
yeah,
pinnacle.
yeah.
It was his pinnacle. It was always going to be difficult for him to
But
do.
wasn't kind of given the opportunity again, as far as I know. Apart from the action thing, but that was action.
Mm.
I think too many flops, and he was just.
I don't know why he wasn't given the opportunity, really. So who knows what was going on in the background there?
I think he had too many flops after Goodfellas. They were trying to make something of him, and I
Mm.
think that No Escape, they spent a lot of money on that,
Mhm.
and it wasn't his fault, But again, I don't know either. But at least the films he was on. I feel like he was good on. You know what I mean? After that, so
When I think about this, and did you know that his mum died of cancer during the filming?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah. So she died of cancer during the film, and apparently the scene where he beats up the Jewish guy with the gun, he channeled, yeah, kind of the anger that he was feeling from his mum's death into kind of that scene,
Yeah,
as well.
that was a good scene, and even the way he walked away, he was like that, and I was like, yeah, I believed you.
Yeah. But it's odd because you look at this and you go, Ray Liotta's best movie, but not De Niro's and not and not Pesci's. Right? They're good in it, but it's not their best.
Isn't it?
No, I'd put.
Isn't it? I don't know, Casino.
Maybe. Yeah, I was going to say I think De Niro and Pesci and Casino are better.
I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna have to beg. All right. So Pesci's virtually the same character in a lot of ways, just a bigger scale, maybe more dangerous. I don't know. I felt like, yeah, Robert De Niro was good on. He's good on it. He was really good on Casino. I was kind of like, I found him more charismatic on this. Yeah, more likable, but he was fierce. One more thing, little bit of trivia. Have you seen Sopranos?
Yes.
It's, to me, it's still the number one. There's nothing has beaten it. Nothing. Yeah, in my opinion. Did you know that Ray Liotta was offered Tony?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he was offered Tony and he turned it down. Now,
did you know Al Pacino was offered James Conway in this?
I didn't know. No.
Yeah, he turned it down because he didn't want to do any gangster movies at the time. And then in the same year, signed for Dick Tracy and played a gangster in Dick Tracy, and is now retrospectively said,
yeah, I mean, maybe a bit of a play. And then he did Donnie Brasco, and a few years later and all that, you know.
Heat.
Well, he was more of the police officer.
He was the police, yeah.
But it's still a gangster movie, you know.
Yeah.
I was going to say is that, yeah. So now look, James Gandolfini owns that part. Yeah, he, like, I don't want to go into it, but he was dangerous, fearsome, likable, sympathetic. You know, he brought everything to that. I still think Ray Liotta would have done that too. I would be curious to have seen what he looked like, but I wouldn't change it now. Do you know what I mean? But yeah. So going on to Joe Pesci, this guy, I think he's about 5'2". Now, according to Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro, Martin Scorsese approached him about it, but then decided he was maybe a bit too small and a bit too old looking to play a younger version of. Do you remember his name on it?
I don't.
Oh God, how's it gone out of my name? Anyway, so regardless, look, people, if you're watching this, I know all the names. I know them backwards. It's just once you're on, it's like it just freezes. But we'll say Joe Pesci's character for now. He so he went off and got himself a wig, like a professional wig, and he put some makeup on his face, and then he called what's his name, Martin Scorsese, over the phone and started threatening him big time. Do you know, like you would on the thing? And Martin Scorsese says, "Oh, okay, I got it." He says, "Wow." So yeah, that's how he got it. Now, as I say, like, he's kind of he's real charismatic on this too. He's actually, in some ways, he is the comic relief.
Yeah.
But he's also vicious as hell. Like, you know, he's kind of maybe got a small man. No, I don't think he was the small man, because the guy he's playing was supposed to be about 6'2", a big dude, like, you know. And but I mean, it starts off, and we all know that famous scene, all right? And he goes like,
Tommy DeVito, by the way, is Joe Pesci's character.
Tommy, yes, Tommy. I actually feel kind of want to kick myself for not thinking of that straight away. Tommy, right? So that scene, right, and he was joking around saying the police got him, and he goes, "I told you to go fuck your mum." And he goes, "I'm going to tell you nothing." And then all that shit was going on, and then he's that was funny. He goes, "What do you mean?" Now, the reason why, apart from we all as the audience tense, the other people were quiet. It was like that was our moment to find out how dangerous he was through the other people, because normally they say shut. They all went quiet because they know this dude is unhinged. You know, he's capable of anything. Now, because me, if it was a friend or someone else, I'll say, shut up, but they like him. They're like, so obviously then that is the moment we all find out how unhinged he is and he's capable of it. And then he was joking around, right? Funny how and all that. It was such a tense scene. It's like award winning. But what made me laugh is, the guy come up and said about the check, and he goes, "You embarrassing me," and the next minute he burst. Yeah, he burst him with the bottle. Yeah, and he goes, "Do you believe this guy?" He goes, $500. He goes, "Do you believe this guy asked me to be the godfather of his kid?" Yeah, and he goes, "Sit down." He goes, "Yeah, it's $500." I was like, and he's laughing after what you just did. And he goes, "Oh, you're a funny guy," and he pulls the gun out, like, Obviously, we got the spider thing,
Do you want to
But I will say about the spider thing, right, which I feel was out of order. Obviously, it was out of order. But Robert Conway, or Jimmy Burke, his real name was. But Conway and Ray Henry, yeah. After the first time, after his leg was shot and he came back and he was giving him shit and he goes, "Go fuck yourself, Tommy." Yeah. The other two knew how unhinged he is, and they were like, "You gonna take that? You gonna take that?" Yeah. I'm like, guys, do you know who you're talking to? Like, you know who you're talking to. You're asking him, "Are you gonna take that?" Yeah. And then bang, bang, bang. Like, it's like, wow. And he just sat down and he goes, "Well, let's play the game," So yeah, that was another good scene. The one thing about this film, I find, it's funny, but the tension,
mixed, yeah. So much tension
is like the funny bits are split your side, yeah. But the tension it brings, and it's unbelievable. And I suppose it's all down to the actors, the direction, Martin Scorsese, all that, yeah, everything, the music. But I want to say about Robert De Niro as well.
Stop a second. I've got something to tell you about the "How Am I Funny" scene.
All right.
So first of all, that's not in the book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it's not part of what happened. It's actually something that happened to Joe Pesci when he was a kid.
Oh, you heard that? Yeah.
And the reason there's so much tension in that scene is that it wasn't put in the script.
Yeah.
So it came out of nowhere for the other actors. So
Right.
so what you're seeing is a reaction in real time with them, like, where's this come from? And I think that really carries that scene.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. I did hear, I've been told or heard many times, is that he did grow up around a load of real gangsters, so he knew how they were and how to hold themselves.
That's what the gangsters did to him. That's what he said, is that this scene, he was on the other side of it. He said to one of the gangsters that they were funny, and they did the whole "How am I funny" thing with him. Yeah, you'd be terrified as a kid, right?
Yeah, but as small as Joe Pesci is, and he doesn't look like his stature is particularly big either. But I'm not being funny. Like, he's 5. I would have been like he is frightening at that point. He doesn't look like he's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. In fact, Dwayne wouldn't have scared me as much as this dude at that moment. But
even when he goes after the ex mafia boss that he used to work for, when he's in the bar and he calls him a shoe shine, and he says, "You embarrass."
That's funny though too,
It is, but then again, right?
Billy Bass.
Yeah, it just switches very, very.
Yeah, go and get your fucking shoe shine box.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit, motherfucker, keep him here!" Like, And when he said keep him here, if I was Billy Bass, I'd be like, "Yeah, I can probably beat him, but I probably should get prepared too."
But that's where the betrayal later on, where Liotta kind of, when he does turn informant later, that kind of shows you how far their relationship has changed, because both De Niro and Liotta know that if they take this ex-crime lord out, it's going to cause them a load of problems.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And they do it. Yeah, and they do it anyway for Tommy.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that they weren't made at that time, were they?
No.
Yeah. So just one, like, I know I'm jumping to the end here, but apparently, according to what I've heard, it was Gotti who had him killed. Yeah, and it possibly was Gotti who pulled the trigger himself because apparently Gotti was really good friends with Billy, like really
All
good
right,
friends
okay.
with Billy Bash. Yeah, and they're saying it probably was him. There's a big chance it was him, and he even pulled the trigger because of friends and stuff.
Wow.
So I don't know. Look, it's how true everything is, But the thing is that with Robert De Niro, as frightening as his character was on this, yeah, apparently him and Joe Pesci or Tommy were the actual real people were worse than this. Have you heard that?
I have, yeah.
They were actually supposed to be worse than this. And I'm like, how is that possible? They did say, like a lot of people they said that Robert De Niro's character was very charismatic in real life. He'd tell stories and he was joking around and all that, yeah, but just that look and you were done, and according to, he was vicious, real. Both of them were worse than this. And I'm like, how is that possible? Like, Jesus. But I thought this is to me one of his best performances. Look, the reason why I say that is because, again, funny, charismatic, nice, want him as your best friend, but don't want him as your enemy, sort of thing, because that Maury's wig tied him up, it was like, yeah, he was vicious. And, when he was stamping on that other guy's head, he looked like he was having fun, But again, Robert De Niro, he does have that look in general. Like, he just really can give you that stare.
Switch.
Yeah, and he's good at that. Obviously all of them were, but Robert De Niro really has that likable, but he looks like the real deal, to be honest. Yeah, he looks like, if you were going to think of a gangster, you want to explain what a gangster looks like, you would literally say him. I think he was great on it. What do you think?
Oh yeah, really, really good in it. But it's not until later in his career that De Niro starts doing some stinkers. Anyway, it's
I know.
Kind of post like Rocky and Bullwinkle and beyond is when things start to go a little downhill for him.
I didn't even see that. Yeah. But have you noticed he seems to take any role?
He does, yeah.
Yeah, someone said to him, I see it. So they were joking around. They said, you don't have to take every role you're offered. You can actually say no to someone.
Yeah.
You know that, because it's true. He literally, like, my God, and what are you taking, But you know what? Same as Samuel Jackson, and even Morgan Freeman to a point.
Funny you should say Samuel L. Jackson. So.
Oh yeah, he's on it. Yeah, that's right.
He is, like, for a second.
Yeah.
Blink and you miss it.
Also, I can't remember his name. The guy with the coffee as well. He was like, "You take the coffee." He's like, "I make the coffee still." He's like, "No," do you know what I mean? Yeah. But the Lahanza heist. The heist, the airport heist.
Yeah.
That's when everything started going backwards for him because, well, the paranoia, and really, like, he was killing everyone. And according to the film, I don't blame Henry for being a bit concerned, even for his wife, because, like, that's the thing they say about Goodfellas and gangsters. They're your best friend. You live with them. They're your family. You go on holiday together, just like that. Even joking around, as you see with what's his name, Maury. So when he's telling the wife, go down there and get yourself a jacket or something, and you're like, you see, you're like, oh, he's my mate, but he's capable and he's killing everyone, because of this. And Henry Hill, he knew about it at least, you know what I mean? Again, the film shows he had nothing to do with it, in the shower and all that, but
We'll see.
It's like his version, so you don't get in trouble. But what I was going to say is, so that's when things started going sideways.
Yeah. Did you know Martin Scorsese's mum's in the movie?
Yes, and his dad. Yeah. So apparently, she was ironing all the shirts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she knew how to do it properly, the special 60s gangster shirts, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
she
wasn't
played.
the guy putting the garlic and the meatballs and the thing in the prison.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
I think his mum was Joe Pesci's mum in the movie. I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look at this guy. I actually got that picture.
Mhm.
I've actually got it. Yeah, the actual picture.
Mhm.
Look at this one guy looking one way and the dog looking the other way. It's him, you know? But yeah, I actually like his mum, and she's on Casino and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, I actually do like his mum. She looks nice and loads of character, like, you
Mhm.
know. But yeah, I'm glad she's in it. And the same as the dad in the prison. Now, I'll say about the prison, according to Henry Hill and Michael Franchese, who, by the way, has a kind of a cameo on it.
Mhm.
Well, it's not him, but it's someone playing him briefly in the bar scene.
Mhm.
Prison for them wasn't like that
No.
at all. You know, like they probably had privileges that others didn't have, but they didn't share a whole big cell. In fact, apparently Henry Hill wasn't with Paulie. Do you know what I mean? Where they're chopping up the garlic and bringing in bread and all that. I do believe there probably was things they got away with that others wouldn't, you know.
Yep.
But as I say, anyway, it was still a cool scene though. Do you know what I mean? Them all
It is, yeah.
working
It is, and that's when you start to see that he's going into the drugs a bit more, and he's starting to.
Yeah, spiral out of control sort of thing.
And that's pretty accurate, because the Italian mob didn't want to get involved with drugs for a very, very long
Yeah, of
time.
course. No, yeah, of course.
And then eventually they did, because there was too much money to turn down. So
Yeah, that's what it is. But they're all the old fellas are all old school and
Mm-hmm.
stay away from enough. What I was going to say was Paulie. I like Paulie on this too. Yeah. In real life, he's a bit of he's actually a really jolly kind of a guy, joking around all the time. But and and he walks out of the diner at the start, like and actually, I think Paulie from Sopranos is on at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's like all these gangster films, they always get the usual suspects to play it. Do you know what I mean? I don't care because they're great, But Paulie, he just
did you know
walks out like,
there was actually a lot of real gangsters in the movie?
oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, they I can't remember who suggested it to Scorsese, but somebody said, "Look, this would add a bit more flavor," and he was like, "Okay," and got some of them in. And they're not sure how they paid them, because obviously they didn't have social security numbers to be able to pay them. So
yeah. But you got to be careful with stuff like that, because they might see an angle in this to like like you heard what happened to Steven Seagal sort of thing, But as I say, where was I? Yeah, Paulie. Yeah, again, wasn't a big part, but I liked him. Yeah, what he was in, he made the best.
Very important
Yeah,
part.
and he came out, and that first scene when he walks out, and he's kind of, everyone's like, and he's a big guy too, like and when he told, what's his name, stay off the draw. Oh, no, he goes, I know what you've done in prison. So basically, basically he knows shit. Don't mess around, like And again, like you said, back then, I think it would at this point it would have been entering the 70s, maybe at this point,
mid-70s, I think it is.
Yeah, at this point, like they were still old school, like they ain't modern and shit. And I understand why they got into drugs, because the other rackets they were in were fading, but drugs is a big, especially then the 70s and the 80s onwards, But I understand. And when he told him stay away from it, that was crazy. And that woman, the babysitter with that hat, I would have murdered her. Yeah, she literally gave them all up anyway. And that scene where they all put the guns to his head in the car, he goes, I knew it was the police, because if it had been a gangster, I would have already been dead. Like, you know what I mean? And that it was actually quite a good, like, it was more than the scene, but the whole part of it, the helicopters and the franticness. And what I liked about it was, I don't know if I should say it. I've done naughty things in the past. Yeah. When I was young, stupidly, don't do it. And how frantic he was, and how frantic all the scenes were throughout that with the helicopter and running in and out and the red eyes. It was very how it kind of was when, I know it. So they really hit that on the nail, the franticness and how he was running back and forth, looking at this, sweating and all that thing. So either Martin Scorsese has done a shitload of drugs, yeah, or he just knew, he'd done his research really well. So I have to say, every single scene on this movie was made the best of.
Yeah, I agreed. No wasted film.
There was no to move along to the next. Well, they all were, but every scene was like something, like it's just, I don't know. Even the scene when they're sitting down with the guy who owns the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, "Yeah, I want to go into business. You want to go to business with me? Yeah, fuck you, pay me." I was like, "Oh shit," Oh, shit ain't working. And they were robbing him at the same time as well.
Yeah.
Basically the thing about gangsters, right? And me and my mates, we'd like to be all that. Not really, because at any given point, you could be dead. Right. So give you an example. Say if something happened where made guys did something, yeah, and they want to keep it hush hush. Say if someone told them that you knew about it. Now, say you didn't know anything, you'd know it. You're finished, just in case. Do you know what I mean? Sorry?
You and the person that told him, both done.
Yeah, you're finished because, and you might know nothing about it. It's just
no sense.
If you're a gangster, they're all your best friends, and they actually are your best friends, and they know this, but they are dead.
Mm-hmm.
So being a gangster, unless even when you're made, it's just one of them things where, yeah, the it's glorified, and you feel, look at that life and women and all kinds of good stuff and all that. But bottom line is that you just have to watch it. Even with the police and the FBI, it's just a constant watch your back, and there might be stuff that you would have to do that you just don't want to do, like some serious stuff. But it's probably not as glossy as you think. But with the start of the film, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just sets it all up. It's just, this film is 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
Funny quotes, there's loads of them. Like, obviously funny how you got, "I'm gonna go get the papers." Was it "fuck you, pay me"? Stuff like that. Yeah, we got you shoe shine box. In fact, I was going to get it. There's a T-shirt with Billy Baths on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, saying "go and get your shoe shine box." Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I was going to get that. Because I have got that poster, a picture of the dogs looking both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like about a picture, I've taken it down and I'll be putting it up soon, painting. But what I like about that picture is, when someone comes into the house, obviously you see Superman there and Goodfellas there, and it's so different to people who don't know what it is. They're like, "What's that?" And I'm like, it's just a nice painting. So it's kind of funny in that way. But then when people know, they know. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of that's why I like it. It's a bit, he would have that. He's not an old man, well, old enough now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just dodgy. And then people who know, they shit. So I always like that picture. But the quotes, yeah. I mean, have you got any? Have I forgotten any?
I don't think so. I think you've pretty much nailed all the big ones, right?
Go get your shoe shine box, yeah. Let us know in the comments, have we missed any? Because I'll kick myself after this, Obviously, then, now, according to what I heard, do you remember the FBI agent at the end?
Yep.
That was actually the real FBI agent that did that.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was the real FBI agent who was involved in that, I kind of felt sorry.
Great quote around Paulie. Yeah, when you first meet him, Paulie kind of moves slow.
That's
But
yeah.
it was only because Paulie didn't have to move for anybody.
Do you remember the small little fat fella then running around passing messages over because he wouldn't use the phone and all that,
Yeah.
you know, and the rain and stuff? So it's funny, it's frightening, it's funny, and then it's
Jimmy,
frightening tension.
and then there was Jimmy two times because he'd always say
Oh,
things
that's what I
two
was saying.
times.
I'm going to get the papers,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Jimmy two times. But as I say, like, the tension is funny. It's funny. It's frightening. It's terrible. Like, again, when you know when something bad is going to happen. You just know. Do you know when they went in to see, is it Styles or Style? You know, Samuel Jackson's character. What was his name? Styles or something. Anyway. And they said, like, I mean, how did he fall asleep in the truck, like, or some shit like that? Yeah. Like, do you not know who you're working for? Yeah. This is just, and then, like, you knew they're walking in and they're all like, I do like that guy. He was a bit dopey throughout the whole thing, you know, and later on when he bought a nice jacket for his missus.
The mink coat.
Yeah, he was there hung up. Like, I felt sorry for him there, like, you know what I mean?
I like the fact that he's like, De Niro says to Liotta, don't be like the others, where they've spent all this money, and next thing you see, he's coming with the biggest Christmas tree he can buy.
Yeah. But I suppose a Christmas tree ain't like a Cadillac and a big fur jacket. But I was going to say is with the guy, yeah, they said like he was frozen so solid it took a few days to thaw him out. You know? Yeah. But then you've got the. I you know how I was so invested into all of them and Ray Liotta. I hated what was happening at the end with him. Do you know what I mean? And having to like that, and he's just, now I'm just a normal schmuck, you know, that kind of. And you know, with the door and Tommy, the end, basically that was a good send off, because at any point, now, as far as I know, again, according to stuff, Jimmy Conway, or Jimmy Burke, his real name was, he literally put a contract out on thingy from prison. He was like, I'll take all my money, I want him dead. And I'm surprised he didn't actually get him. I know the FBI are good, but you know what they're like, the mafia. They
He died, didn't he? He
died in prison.
He did get arrested later for running stuff.
Oh, you're talking about Henry Hill?
Yeah, Henry Hill.
Yeah, according to that, Henry Hill was just selling drugs again, drinking. He did all, like, I mean, he did not stay quiet. Yeah, I know he didn't be loud on purpose. It's just, he was just a degenerate, really. Like, he was like, even when you see footage of him when he was younger, he looked a bit scruffy, and, you know, and you could tell he probably wasn't as big, because even Michael Francese, I don't know if you've ever seen him or watched bits and pieces of him. I haven't seen a lot, but I've seen bits and pieces, especially when he's talking about Goodfellas. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He was saying that he was not as cool as that. He wasn't as involved as he seemed on the film. Oh, he was in it deep enough. They said that he had to stick up for him a few times from nearly being whacked because of the way he was acting. He would be high a lot of the time and doing stupid things all the time, gambling. They didn't mention that he joined the army,
right?
Real, and he went off for years. You know, yeah, they didn't. That wasn't in the film, but he went off for years, and he tried to stay out of the life. But you could see he was too much of a degenerate. Now, a person like him would never ever really be taken seriously in the mafia. Not Ray Liotta's version, his version, because he was too scruffy, too scheming, small time. You couldn't trust him, you know. So I think my opinion, I think he easily ratted rather than Ray Liotta's version, because, you know, he was a bit of a, according to him and others, you know, Paulie was having an affair with his wife.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, this is another another reason why he was scared. So one of the biggest things you can't do in the mafia is sleep with someone else's wife, especially in that. Now, I don't think he was big enough to worry about. He wasn't made,
Yeah.
but apparently the word got out that he might have been having an affair. So Paulie did want him dead, and the wife. It wasn't in the film, you know, but apparently he was having an affair with Henry Hill's wife, you know, at some point. Look, I don't care. The film is accurate enough to the book. You understand they can't put everything in. I get it. But as I say, Henry Hill wouldn't shut up. He's dead now. And he is quite funny when I've seen him on doing interviews. He's quite likable, you know. But yeah, and he said many times, like, it was a frightening time in his life. And he didn't realize at the time, not all the time. And with all the things you get, you forget about the dangers sometimes, you know, and then just like that, you could be gone. And he goes, I nearly was. So yeah, anyway, regardless of talking about the film is 10 out of 10. Now, I'm going to say this, probably do another video on it, but I'm conflicted. I have like 4 films that are my favorite of all time, and I cannot choose. Yeah. One is Shawshank Redemption. Now, apparently that's a very white man's favorite film. Yeah. Even though obviously my black mates like it. Yeah. But I don't care. Now, the other one is, surprisingly, Forrest Gump. Now, a lot of people really should. Yeah, the reason why is, I'm not going to go into it too much, but I loved it when I first saw it. Everyone else did. But the film is kind of about nothing, only what we see through his eyes, you know? And on paper, it doesn't sound like it would be a major big film, you know? And the way who wrote it, the way he was written, how it was done. Anyway, I'm going off into one. And also Goodfellas, those 3. Now, the 4th one is the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. On the day, if you ask me tomorrow, it will be one or the other. Yeah. I have loads of favorites. In my top spot, it would be Goodfellas. Again, the reason why is I can watch them all. I can watch Ghostbusters and Rocky quite a lot, but I couldn't watch, as much as I loved them, I couldn't watch Rocky 1 again the day after. But I can watch this. And I will say, I watch these, all of those, what I just said, yearly, without fail. I pick a time. Oh shit, I haven't seen it this year. I'll watch it. Do you know? I can just repeatedly watch them, and that's why they're my favorite, and that's why this is my favorite.
Makes sense.
Yeah. About you, what's your favorite?
You know that.
Oh, you told me.
True Romance.
True Romance. Yeah. Sorry. If the video isn't out by then, it should be out before this anyway. So yeah, you'll see. I'm surprised I asked that. Leave me alone. Yeah.
This is up there. This is up there. This is in my top 5, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it's my top 1. But again, if anyone said to me like, oh yeah, I have people say, oh yeah, I know it's Goodfellas. Now a lot of people go, what over the Godfather? I'm like, Godfather is a classic and it's epic, 1 and 2 anyway. Yeah. And the thing is, right, again, my choices are because of the rewatchability. I'm not saying it's better. I'm not at all. In some ways, Godfather is better. Do you know what I mean? In a lot of ways, it is. Do you know? It's just absolutely epic. Do you know? And but it's just, and I can rewatch them plenty, but not the day after. Do you know? Not the day after, and that's why I've decided, because I'm always conflicting. What are my favorite? What are my favorite? The ones you can watch all the time, same day, same next day, all that. That's why these are my favorite, and this is why. This is number 1 today. Tomorrow, it's always number 1. That's it. That's all I got to say. It's fucking best film ever. Anyway, so yeah. So thanks for everyone for watching. If you've made it this far, let us know in the comments, is there any quotes that we've missed? Because you'll see I'll physically kick myself. Yeah. Let us know in the comments. And I want to say thank you to Ian for joining me today on this epic video we're making of Goodfellas. And no, you're not funny. Yeah. So yeah, I just want to say thanks, and we'll do another one. anyone's interested, we're going to do some more retro discussions at some point, you know, if this does any good, you know. But no, even if it doesn't, I just like talking about some retro stuff, you know. We'll come up with some old stuff, you know, some classics anyway. So yeah, cheers, Ian, for that.
Thanks very much.
Anyway, look, for everyone, like and subscribe and all those good things. You know how it works by now, yeah? But for now, and until next time, you're going to join me with this, Ian.
Yep.